Assalamu alaikum everybody, this is your brother Sam and a very warm welcome back to the Sam of Somalia channel. Doing some careers advice today. I thought it'd be a really important video to set the camera up and give some advice to the school students out there and perhaps college, like A-level students as well, GCSE and younger, and then maybe some A-level students that need this advice too, about what careers there are in languages. Because I think there's some terrible careers advice out there. So we're going to thank our sponsors, inshallah, very quickly, and then when we come back, that's what we're going to go over. I'm sure all of you have some sort of dream of becoming fluent in another language and getting to enjoy all of the benefits that it can bring, whether that's work opportunities to travel, or if it's like me and you just want a chance to sweet talk the in-laws. But there's a simple fact about learning a new language, and that's that you need real contact time to practice and to drill your new language. You may be able to learn a ton of grammar and language concepts from resources online and books you can get on Amazon, but real fluency demands real human contact. Italki is a website and an app which is teeming with supportive teachers, where you can get the guidance that you need tailored to your learning needs. On Italki, a whole bunch of people, in fact, over 3 million people, are learning languages to a level of fluency with quality and effective teachers who are also native speakers. As you can see, there are over 100 languages available, including English, Spanish, Italian, Chinese, Russian, and much more. Not only does Italki have over 5,000 teachers ready and waiting for you, but it's affordable, so you don't need an enormous budget to reach your language learning goals. To get $10 free credit after you buy your first lesson on Italki, click the link in the description below. Good to see you guys back on the channel. Good, so this really is the question about what careers advice I would give to people who want a career in languages, people who love languages and they want to spend the rest of their life learning languages and using languages in their work. So what advice would I give them? And I think I'd probably start by going back to some advice that I've been giving for a really long time. And so I remember when I left school, like when I was at school, I didn't really get many GCSEs and I didn't really do very well, and I didn't get a single language GCSE either. Like I was told when I was in sort of year 9, I just wasn't good enough at languages to do a GCSE language, even though I kind of wanted to do French. My language teacher, she was like, "You're just not a good enough linguist, unfortunately, to do languages," which is a real shame, because if you're watching out there, that French teacher who said that to me and said it to my mum, even though I got my mum to come in because I wanted to learn a language so much, I'm better than you now. Anyway, so anyway, when I went to college, like my grades went up a lot, right? Like I ended up getting 4 A's, alhamdulillah, and I did language subjects at A-levels as well. So like my school invited me back to go and speak to the students back there, and I remember giving this advice that don't think about what you want to do in the future, because that's always changing. Like our generation, us millennials, have seen that so clearly, that you can think, oh, I want to do this job, but then by the time that you grow up and you're that age, that job might not even exist anymore, or there might be way more exciting opportunities than that were so much closer to what you actually loved. And I understood that even when I was doing my A-levels. So I went back to school and I said, think about what you love doing now. Like, get really good at what practically you love doing, rather than what you like the idea of doing. Like if you're saying to yourself, oh, I like languages, so I'd like to be an interpreter. Well, do you like really high pressure situations where you're paying attention to someone speaking for an hour and then possibly being paid not enough really for the intensity that is? Do you like doing that? If you do, then it might be a good career for you. But the best thing to do really is to focus on actually what you can apply yourself to, what you like doing now, and then let that take you to it. So really that's the first thing, right? To focus on what you like doing now. And if languages are what you like doing now, then that makes sense that you have that aspiration. If you enjoy trying to make your face and make your mouth produce these sounds that are in foreign languages, and you enjoy having conversations with people where you make loads of mistakes and they can correct you, and if you're of the disposition where you can try out languages and you don't mind making mistakes, you don't mind looking silly, if you're of that disposition, then yeah, it might be right for you. But if you just have it in your head that you like the idea of being fluent in a language, but you don't really have the sort of capacity for the patience that it needs and for the dedication that it needs, and it might not be for you. So firstly, it's about knowing yourself, I guess, really, and knowing what you really like doing now. Yeah, and then the next point was just that the language industry is changing, right? Like, you should be aware that Like I remember when I first started being interested in languages, and when I went to college with other people who are interested in languages, 99% of people who like language is their thing. Like most of you who are at school, you probably know one or two people who like languages are their thing. Like they love German or French or Spanish, whatever languages they're doing at school. They usually think, well, translator and interpreter. For those of you who don't know the difference between a translator and interpreter, translator is written, reading and writing languages, and an interpreter is oral. You know, it's listening and then interpreting. And they're quite different. Like they're quite different skills. I've done both. I've done both in my time, and they're very, very different skills. Like if you like assignments and you like to be able to work from home, then translating might be good for you. And if you like reading and you like writing, if you're a good writer, translating might be good for you. But then again, if you're incredibly social, you know, if you're a very social person, if you don't mind a bit of high pressure in in the situations, then interpreting might be good for you. But they're not the same. You know, they're very, very different skills, and you usually need to train specifically for that skill. Like just because you speak two languages, that doesn't mean you'll be a good translator. It does not mean you'll necessarily be a good interpreter. Interpreting and translation are a skill in and of themselves that you need to study, you need to practice, you need to get good at. And really, like only the top 1 or 2% of language graduates are good enough to be translators and interpreters. Like I know when I first started like self-studying Chinese, this was probably when I was about 15, I like the idea of being like a conference interpreter at the UN or whatever. I didn't really appreciate at that time how it's not glamorous at all. Like I had in my head that it would be really glamorous, but it ain't. Yeah, but actually only a really tiny percent of graduates are actually good enough to be. And there are loads more exciting things in the world that use languages. Like there are so many amazing careers and stuff that use languages, and the careers will change. Do you know what I mean? Like with technology, you need to keep an eye on that. There are some serious softwares coming about where the software can translate for you. Like when we're getting into the arenas of augmented reality, of AR, you know, like I've heard people talking about like, you know, there are serious softwares being developed for people to wear glasses, go to another country, and the glasses will just rearrange the road signs and stuff and translate them into your native language. So that will remove a lot of linguists that are needed, but that opportunity will open up on other sides. So like for these glasses to be made, or for like these earbuds to be made where people can speak to you and it will translate it directly for you, I think we're all quite a way off either of those things really, but to be done well. But these things will need consultants as well. They'll need consultants. They'll pay their consultants very well. You have companies like Google and Amazon and stuff that will do their, you know, they need consultants for their text to speech, you know, and stuff like that, like Amazon Echo and things like that, the Google HomePod and stuff. They'll all need multiple languages. They'll all need linguists who understand the grammar, who understand the sentence structure, who understand their idioms and stuff. They'll need consultants like that. So there will be a huge need for linguists. There always will be. You know, there are a lot of like big kind of business people. I've listened to a little bit of their stuff. Like I won't actually mention any of their names because there are negative things that they say as well. I don't want to direct you towards it, but like some who say like languages will almost be irrelevant, like they're not important. I think that's nonsense. Like, and all the people that I've heard who have said that are not linguists. You know, it's nonsense that linguists will be sort of not needed just because of technology. Like they'll be needed just as much, right? And that in itself is a failure to understand actually what language is and what language is used for and why it's important. You know, there's a whole load of things that very, very human element of language that robots just will never ever be able to imitate. Good. So we're fine, okay? Like you being interested in languages, being passionate about languages and a career in language, it's going to serve you, right? But you can't judge what the current state of the languages careers market is, because it will be different in the 7 years or whatever until you get there. Good. And then the last thing that I just wanted to mention is that you don't need to do your degree in languages. Even if you want to be a translator or an interpreter, you know, or if you want to be a teacher of that language, you probably do. But to be a translator or interpreter, you just need to be able to do the job. If you can do the job well, you can get the job. Like if you're a native speaker or a near-native speaker of whatever the language is, like say you're English like me, and the language that you've learned is Russian. If you have got yourself to a point where you're fluent in Russian, you spent your summers in Russia, you know, for the past 8 years, and you have a native level command over Russian. If you do a certificate in interpreting, you can get a job interpreting. Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't actually need a degree in Russian. It's only really for education when I say that you do, because, I mean, I don't know what it's like in other countries so much, but like in this country, our education system is, I mean, is a real mess, really. Like, you know, if you don't have the right qualifications and stuff, then you can't actually get a job in schools teaching languages. Like even though like I've written Arabic curriculums. Like, I've written Arabic curriculums. I've mentored students through GCSE in Arabic. Like, most like schools would not employ me to teach Arabic in their schools because I just don't tick certain boxes for them. You know, even though I've got phenomenal results for my Arabic students, and I have, you know, probably 200 testimonials from students who I've got them from complete beginner to, you know, very, very advanced level. I don't want to say like native or near native, but like incredibly advanced levels, and even young kids as well I've managed to do it with too. But you know, the schooling system is all red tape these days, and it's all, you know, it's not about the kids, it's just about the data that you can get. And that's the topic, that's for a different video, for me to go on ramblings about whatever, about education system. But generally speaking, for your career that you want in languages, you need to be good at languages. It's not necessarily about the paper or whatever, about whether you've got an A in A-level French. That won't matter. It'll matter is, are you good enough? That's what will matter in the real world. And then I guess I'll kind of end on telling you a little bit about what I do, I suppose. You know, because that's what happened to me, really. Like I did when I started my degree in Arabic. I didn't even know that you could be a YouTuber. Like, I didn't really even know that you could be an influencer and you could have an audience of your own, and then you could think about creating your own courses and stuff. And you know, and it's worked out that I've just stuck to my passions and it's all fallen into place. And I can't imagine anything in the world that I'd rather do than what I do right now. So, yeah, so I mean, and that's what happened. Like, if you just stick to the things that you know you love, the things will come into place, and you know, and you put yourself out there. You let people know that you're doing this stuff and this is the stuff that fascinates you, and you're determined to be good at it, and you're always improving yourself. Opportunities will come to you as well, and that's exactly what happened with me, really. Like, I just had some stuff that I knew that I loved languages. I knew that I even loved sharing the process of learning languages as well. At this channel in the beginning was only me sharing the process of me learning Somali. That's all it was in the beginning. Like, I knew that even before YouTube existed. Like, I knew that I liked telling people about my language learning as I was learning. I knew that I liked talking to people about it and meeting other people who like languages. I knew that I liked putting myself out there and speaking, and I liked socializing with people, and I knew that I liked technology a bit. I knew that I liked, you know, video. I knew that I liked audio, and I knew that I liked writing and stuff. Like, these are all things that just I had instinctively, and just because I followed the stuff that I loved doing in an immediate sense, that kind of takes you, you know, that kind of takes you to the career that you should eventually be in. So I know that all of that advice is really abstract, to be honest. Like, a lot of that might seem a bit abstract to you guys who are, you know, maybe at school, or you're at college, or, you know, you're doing your A-levels or your GCSEs or whatever. But, you know, try your best to follow that, inshallah, because that's advice that I wish somebody gave me. Yeah, so I mean, stay consistent. You know, your age, imagine if you're doing your GCSEs now. So I just kicked the tripod, so that's why I wobbled a little bit. You know, if you're like 15 or 16 now, I mean, I'm nearly 26 now. So you've got like 10 years on me, you know, like with that 10 years, like if you were to just start doing something like every day, like let's say you just did like 10 minutes of Japanese every morning or whatever, just before you go to school, because let's be honest, you've got loads of time. Yeah, like when you're at school, you've got loads of free time. So if you just got up 10 minutes earlier and you just did 10 minutes of Japanese every day, like, do you know what a freak you'd be at Japanese in 10 years if you did that? Like, you just have such amazing, like with your youth, you have such an amazing language learning opportunity. So may Allah make it easy for you guys, and may Allah increase it in you. May Allah increase you guys in knowledge, and may Allah increase us in knowledge. If you have any more questions about that sort of stuff, or anything else I can help you with, drop me an email, inshallah, samofsomalia@gmail.com, or put it in the comments if you don't mind putting something public, and I'll personally be getting back to you. So if you enjoyed this video, and I hope you did, as always, don't forget to like and share it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you're new on the channel, then do go ahead and subscribe if you've enjoyed this video to get more. And that's it. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.